Amherst, Massachusetts, at the West Cemetery. And we're in the African-American burial site in the very back towards the center. It's sad to see. There's one stone erected after the fact to honor one person and all the people. And it says that at West Cemetery African-American Burials, Christopher Thompson, member of the Company D, 5th Massachusetts Cavalry, died November 5th, 1898, age 79 years old, erected in 2016 by a grateful community. And the African-American burials are towards the back of him and towards the right-hand side. Back here, probably all the indigent people, but by that I mean the Potter's Field, and that includes for white people and the African-American people. But the African-American are in separate location. They're known to be separate in most Western Massachusetts community in the cemeteries. All cemeteries they go to that had African Americans are buried off to the side. That is very sad, but there was such a large community of African Americans in Amherst. They felt at home here, where in other communities around Western Massachusetts there were only tiny amounts. So this was a bit of a community that was growing up with lots of merchants and lots of farms, and they loved the African Americans being here because they felt that they were wanted here. But still, when they were buried, they had to be buried, no matter how rich they were, in the back, separate from the white people. Now, the indigents are probably sweeping back towards the east, and the Americans are probably sweeping back towards the south. So that'd be interesting to check into. Now, next to him, there's a burial. And it says on it, Father Charles Thompson, a member of Company, I can't read it, but it says 5th Massachusetts Cavalry, died October 20th, 1903, age of 64 years old. So that might be his son or it might be his brother. It's very hard to tell, right? And there's a very tiny grave next to it. It might be a child's grave. Usually the children would have them very small. Now, some of the other white ones on here, towards this right-hand side, are African Americans, but at this point I haven't verified them yet, and I would love to be able to do that. A lot of the ones over in this section here are also Civil War veterans, and it's right on the gravestones that they wore. So it's good to have their own section back here, right? And there's one stone that says in memoriam to 5 Amherst unknown Civil War veterans. I don't know how you could lose a Civil War veteran. I can understand losing a person during a war because of illness and injuries and the identity is not known. But I can look into that too. And more towards this side, you get more of these very interesting gravestones. Some very tiny and some very interesting to read onto. And a lot of these I'll try to explain along the way. Now what we're going to do from this point right here is do a scan of the cemetery as a panoramic with me commenting on it, and then I'll do a 360 without much comment. So we're in the back of the West Cemetery, the oldest cemetery of Amherst. It existed even before there was an Amherst. 1730 was its birth, and at that point it was part of Hadley. We're looking towards the indigent back, but as we sweep over, we see the old burials, and it gets older and older as we sweep in. There's one table gravestone up on the top of that hill. There's many important people, including the first president ever of Amherst College is in here. And one of the entrances to the cemetery is out there also, coming in off of, I believe, Boltwood Avenue. And then as you sweep around, you get, instead of the 1730s, we would come into like the 1800s as you sweep backwards. There's a holding tube that was put in the 1850s towards the north. And then the gate itself is not visible from this location, but it's in the gravestone, is fenced in at this point. She's with her sister, Lavinia, and with her father and mother. Also, Has your sweeper on the back. You run into the late 1800 section, early 1900 section, and then as you sweep a little bit more, becomes the African-American and the indigent section, which means the Potter's Field section. All right, not many gravestones back here because you have to be fairly rich to afford a gravestone. So we're going to sweep one more time without my speech.